In 1979, a Harvard study asked graduating MBA students one simple question. Do you have written goals for your future? Only 3% said yes. 10 years later, researchers tracked them down. That 3% was earning 10 times more than the other 97% combined. Nobody connected the dots until now. And what those dots reveal will completely change how you think about success. Here's the part nobody talks about. It wasn't the goals that made them rich. It was what the goals forced them to build underneath. A system, a daily structure, a repeatable identity. Every goal you've ever set has already failed you. Not because you're lazy, because goals are broken by design. They have an expiration date. They create a finish line. And the moment you cross that line or miss it, your brain shuts down. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what those 3% were actually doing that the other 97% completely missed. Stay with me. This changes everything. Let's go back even further. 1890, William James, the father of American psychology, published a book called The Principles of Psychology. Inside it, he wrote something that the entire self-help industry has quietly ignored for 134 years. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, all our life is but a mass of habits, not goals, habits. James understood something that Tony Robbins' motivational posters and New Year's resolution culture never figured out. The brain doesn't run on ambition, it runs on repetition. Fast forward to 1954. Abraham Maslow publishes his hierarchy of needs. Suddenly, everyone is obsessed with self-actualization, reaching the peak, achieving the outcome, hitting the summit. Goal culture explodes. By the 1960s, corporate America is swimming in goal-setting frameworks. Management by objectives, or MBO, becomes the standard operating procedure for Fortune 500 companies. Edwin Locke formalizes goal-setting theory in 1968, and suddenly goals aren't just a personal habit, they're a science. Except the science was incomplete, and nobody noticed for decades. Here's where it gets interesting. In 2002, a psychologist named Gabriele Oettingen ran a series of experiments at NYU. She asked one group of participants to visualize achieving their goals in vivid detail. Really picture the finish line, feel the emotion, see the success. She asked another group to simply build small daily action routines without attaching them to a big dream outcome. The results were devastating for the goal-setting industry. The people who focused on the end-state visualization, they performed worse, they exercised less, they applied for fewer jobs, they studied less effectively. Why? Because your brain is a liar. When you vividly imagine success, your nervous system registers a version of it as already real. It releases dopamine, it relaxes. The motivation evaporates before you even start. The people running daily systems, they didn't get that false dopamine hit, so they kept moving. This was the first crack in the goal-setting empire. But here's the thing. Almost nobody heard about it. The self-help machine was already too profitable to stop. By the mid-2000s, the goal-setting industry was worth billions. Smart Goals, Vision Boards, The Secret, published in 2006, sold 30 million copies telling you to visualize what you want and the universe would deliver it. Meanwhile, gym memberships were hitting record highs every January and record cancellations every February. The cycle was vicious and predictable. Set a goal, get excited, lose momentum, feel like a failure, repeat. But something was quietly happening in the background. In 2007, a researcher named Philippa Lally at University College London started studying how habits actually form in the real human brain. Not in laboratory conditions, but in messy, unpredictable daily life. Her team tracked 96 people over 12 weeks as they tried to build new behaviors. The popular belief at the time was that habits take 21 days to form. That number came from a plastic surgeon in the 1960s who noticed patients took about 21 days to adjust to seeing their new reflection. Not exactly rigorous science. Lally's study found the real number was closer to 66 days. And more importantly, it wasn't about willpower. It was about environment design and repetition, the system, not the goal. Then 2012 happened. James Clear, at the time just a blogger recovering from a serious baseball injury, started writing about what he called identity-based habits. Not outcome-based, not goal-based, identity-based. His idea was simple and it hit like a freight train. He said, "Stop asking what you want to achieve. Start asking who you want to become." Every action you take is a vote for that identity. Miss a workout? One vote against your identity as someone who moves their body. Hit a workout? One vote in favor. Small votes. Cast daily. That's the system. 6 years later, Clear published Atomic Habits. It sold 15 million copies in 5 years and became the most highlighted book on Kindle 3 years running. But even that wasn't the real tipping point. The tipping point was when neuroscience caught up. In 2017, researchers at MIT's McGovern Institute confirmed what Clear was describing behaviorally. The basal ganglia, the habit center of your brain, physically strengthens its neural pathways with every repetition. Goals don't live there. Systems do. Your brain is literally rewired by what you do daily, not by what you want eventually. So where does that leave you right now in 2025? Here's the honest picture. You live in a world optimized to sell you the finish line. Every course promises a result. Every app promises a transformation. Every January, you're handed a blank goal sheet and told this time will be different. And the entire time, the 3% from that Harvard study, the ones quietly building daily systems, not chasing outcomes, are compounding every single day. Here's what the research actually says works. Number 1, process identity over outcome identity. Don't say, I want to run a marathon. Say, I am someone who runs. Number 2, shrink the daily action until it's embarrassingly small. 2 minutes, 1 page, 5 push-ups. The barrier has to be low enough that your brain never argues with it. Number 3, track it. This is non-negotiable. When you track a behavior, you create a visual streak. That streak becomes part of your identity. Breaking it creates genuine psychological discomfort, and that discomfort is your best friend. The system becomes self-reinforcing. And the goal? The goal becomes a side effect of who you're becoming. Here's what most people in the self-improvement space aren't saying yet, but will be within the next 2 years. The goal economy is collapsing. The data is too strong. Companies like Google and Intel abandoned purely outcome-based management years ago in favor of OKRs, objectives, and key results, which are really just system checkpoints disguised as goals. The world's highest performers, athletes, CEOs, artists, have all converged on the same framework without coordinating. Daily non-negotiables, not monthly targets, and the technology is catching up fast. The most effective self-improvement tools being built right now are not goal trackers. They are behavior trackers, habit loggers, daily reflection systems, because the data shows the same pattern over and over. The people who check in daily, who write down what they did, what they felt, what they'll do tomorrow, are the people who actually change. Not the people with the best designed vision boards, not the people with the most detailed 5-year plan. The people who show up to the page every single day and track the system. That's the entire secret, and now you know it before most people do. So what do you actually do starting today? Not next Monday, not January 1st. Today. First, delete the goal. Seriously, not forever, but for now. Take whatever outcome you've been chasing and translate it into a daily system. Want to write a book? Your system is open a document and write 200 words every morning before your phone comes on. Want to get in shape? Your system is put on workout shoes every day at 7 a.m. and move for at least 10 minutes. Want to build a business? Your system is spend 30 minutes daily on the one task that creates value for a real human being. Second, track it. And I want to be specific here because this is where most people fall apart. Tracking doesn't mean a complex spreadsheet. It doesn't mean a $400 productivity course. It means a simple daily record of whether you did the thing. I personally use Habitica. It's a habit-tracking journaling app that turns your daily system into a game. You log your habits, journal your reflections, and the app builds a visual record of your consistency streak. At around 7 minutes into your journey of building this system, not 7 minutes into this video, but 7 minutes of real daily commitment, you'll feel the shift. That's when the